So I became a member at one of my local libraries just to be able to get out of the house more while doing my work. Tomorrow, there will be some sun and thunderstorms with a high of 93 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 81 degrees. Anyway, so I became a member at one of my local libraries. I like getting out of the house while doing my work as much as I can, just a change of scenery and all that. So I enjoy cafes, I enjoy hotels, and I love libraries. And I especially love the library because it's the closest. And when I became a library member, they of course gave me like brochures and cool things, and they also gave me their events calendars for the upcoming months. Those papers were first, just sitting in one of my tote bags. And then maybe a week later, I cleaned my tote bag out, and the papers, I think they ended up like on the dresser. And then a few days go by, and now I have quite a few papers on the dresser. So I cleaned them off and I threw away like the things that could be thrown away. And then I was just left with a few papers and the events calendar. Because I had been going to the library for months before actually becoming a member, and I would see like the little workshops for like the children, and it would just fill my heart with like so much joy, just seeing children find joy in learning and reading and arts and crafts. And I would just say to myself, like, oh, I can't wait to have children. Like, there are going to be so many resources like within the communities that we could use for them and benefit from, like just becoming members of the libraries or local aquariums, like museums and like art institutes. It's just so fun to daydream about that, raising your children to value education and culture. I love that. And so I saw a conference being hosted one time, like a few months ago, and I just thought it was like a brief thought. I thought, wow, he has a full house. I wonder what he's teaching. And then I kind of just dropped the thought and I continued my work. So the point is, I've always enjoyed seeing all of the like cool events and unique events being hosted at the library, but I hadn't yet gotten involved. So as I'm looking at the upcoming events, I pulled out my phone and I began to like see what I wanted to sign up for in that moment. And so for the adults, there were a few options, obviously like less options than the children, which I love, but I signed up for some really cool things. Wellness focused classes like sound healing and Ayurveda. There were financial literacy seminars and other things that I signed up for that I don't remember. But I'll tell you what my thought process was while registering for these events. So for the first financial event that I signed up for, I thought, yes, this would be great. I can educate myself more, discuss more credit building strategies and, these sorts of things. And then I saw the wellness events and I thought, yes, these could be my potential friends, potential clients and community members, because they're obviously interested in health and wellness. My first published book is in the health and wellness space. It's the Ultimate Health and Wellness Guide, always linked down in the description box. So I thought, okay, these are great opportunities for Favor to recognize me. I'm really big on, going where Favor can recognize you. So I thought this is amazing. But then when I registered for a second finance event, I thought to myself, like, not only is this going to build up my literacy and build up my network, but I'm also going to go into all of these events, all of these seminars, and I'm going to study these speakers, these founders, these visionaries. I'm going to study the way that they conduct these events, their public speaking skills, their communication styles, and all of that. So I'll be learning so much, but in like so many different layers. And I do this in courses and master classes, of course, like that I purchase. So I'm learning what they're teaching, and then I'm also watching the way that they teach. I'm watching the way that they speak. What do they do when there's an overwhelm of engagement versus no engagement? It's all so beneficial. So I went into this finance event with my eyes and ears open of just how the speaker was going to conduct things, who the speaker was going to be, their energy, all of that. And not only did I make a great connection with her, but I also saw her engagement style with us, which was a very personal and personable approach. And afterwards, this is the magic. Afterwards, I went up to the desk, just curious, and I asked the woman, the receptionist working there, I said, what's the process and what are the requirements for hosting an event or a seminar in one of your conference rooms or event rooms? And she broke it down for me, and it was actually not that complicated. I don't remember what she said specifically, but it was like an hourly fee for sure, and like an approval of event registration and something else. But like this was clearly God showing me my next steps like in my company and my brand, because it has to be public speaking and not just Zoom conference calls or masterminds, but like actually being in front of people and speaking, seminars, panels, these sorts of things. So now I am going to work towards creating my own event, even if it's a little micro event, in front of just a handful of people or something huge. I'm not sure if it'll be health and wellness focused or like a collab with one of the other health and wellness ladies in the area, or if it will be, for the launch of the teen mentorship program, or I'm not sure. But I think this is what God wanted me to see. Like this is why I was called to clean my bag and my dresser and not throw the calendar away. Because also I'll have to throw in, so it makes a little more sense, I've been asking God for things. You guys, if you've been around here long enough, I've been asking God for things. I'm always asking for things. And like I'm telling him at this point in my journey, I'm like, just tell me, like I promise I'll do it. I'll do whatever you say. I'll be obedient. So funny. But like it's really funny, like the way it happened, because I almost moved on to the next thing. Even after I cleaned my dresser, I almost moved on to the next thing. Like I wasn't gonna pick up the calendar in that exact moment, but I just had the nudge to, and so I walked back over to the dresser. So now I'm figuring out a game plan. Now I'm figuring out how do I want to jump into events and public speaking. And this was all within like 72 hours. Like it's such a beautiful thing when you allow and like just allow God to move in your life and follow the breadcrumbs. And I'm excited to see where it takes me. So I'll keep you guys updated on how it's going. And again, the Next Gen Dreamers Journey is now open to all parents. This is focused on teenagers. We're focusing on building up their confidence, a sense of purpose and direction. All parents are eligible for that 20-minute complimentary discovery call so that I can learn about your teen and see if we're a good fit. There's Next Gen 1-month initiative, 3-month fellowship, 6-month accelerator, and 12-month legacy. I, of course, would want your teen for as long as possible. I know how slow some teenagers can be to warming up and opening up, and I definitely want you guys to take your teen's personality into consideration when choosing the time frame commitment. Obviously, we're going to talk about that on the discovery call, but I just want to put that out there because I want to contribute as much as I can to your teen. And for adults, I still have the Dreamer's Journey for you guys, which isn't centered around the same themes as Next Gen. The Dreamer's Journey is more so reawakening your dreamer. So your dreamer's been retired, your dreamer's been on sleep mode, whether it be for months, for years, even decades. The dreamer that's tied to believing that you can have more, that you're worthy of more, that you deserve more, that you can change course at any point of your life, right? You're not stuck on a specific path. You're not stuck in a specific box or a cage, right? So working on your conditioning, right sizing your vision and your alignment, building up your courage so that you can go boldly after your heart and what your heart is calling for. and accountability, accountability, accountability. So if you want to dream again, if you're tired of living a dry and rigid life, if you want to be lit up again, excited about your passions again, excited about a random Tuesday again, to express your soul in the most beautiful ways, this is where I'll call you in as an adult. And so, like always, if you enjoy these sorts of conversations, or if you're just the very least interested in what crazy things I'm going to say next, subscribe here and let me know what you think. Like, comment, and get excited. Get freaking excited for the transformation that's coming to you, okay? Get excited for tomorrow. You have no idea what could happen tomorrow. You have no idea what could happen the next time you pull your notification bar down. You have no idea what could happen the next time you check your mailbox. You have no idea. Get excited. Show God that you're open for it, okay? God loves you and I love you. Bye.